Hey folks, Jim Thomas here, Fitness Management and Consulting, and welcome to our channel today. I appreciate you being here. And if you're new to the channel, if you're finding us for that very first time, welcome as well. It's great to have you. And before we get into our topic here today, just a quick reminder, my focus, my mission here on the channel is I want to be able to provide as much information as I can to as many people as I can, across all regions. And the best way I can do that is when you choose to subscribe to the channel, when you choose to hit the like button, when you choose to offer comments, and we love hearing from you, and when you choose to share the information with friends, associates, and colleagues. So with that said, if you've not yet done so and you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. And then to learn more about me, learn more about my company and how we can help take your business that next level, and then additional ways that you can choose to support the channel, check out those links below. And so with that said, let's get into our topic here today. And it's 5 tips for re-energizing your gym sales team. 5 tips for re-energizing your gym sales team. And sometimes things can get stagnant. Sometimes you're kind of in a little bit of a turnaround mode and things happen there. Or even we kind of start to go through the motions. I mean, I can think back in times when I was in gym membership sales and doing pretty well, but it would lose a little bit of its edge sometimes. And we had to look for different ways to bring this back up. So let's talk about 5 things you can do to re-energize your gym sales team. And really, if you train a team, this is for you, right? But if you're that individual that maybe needs to be re-energized, what can you do on some of these that can maybe help you individually get things done? So number 1, identify the root cause. Identify the root cause. What's the reason? Why do we need to be re-energized here? Now, here's one thing I would look at, okay? I know from a training perspective and getting involved with a lot of folks, if we have folks that have a great attitude and follow the process, by and large, we're going to have success. And then depending on, how diligent they are in follow-up and other things will, determine the level of that success. But a great attitude, follow the process, I feel pretty good about that, as a basis point here. So if we're trying to identify the root cause, is it attitude? Do we have an attitude that's kind of a naysayer? We're looking at the glass is half empty, or are we treating everybody like a buyer? Okay, are we presenting everybody, in terms of process? Are we following the process? It's very easy to start cutting corners. It's very easy to start cutting corners. So, when you start looking at some of this, we want to get them back on track, because one of the ways that I look at this as someone who's maybe in charge is it's like a train going down the track. This is my sales team, a train going down the track, and what my job is to pat it over here a little bit and pat it over here and keep that train going straight. And sometimes that's just doing it with attitude. Sometimes that's just doing it, with process. Okay, so sometimes that can be it. But I'll share a little story with you, on kind of identifying the root cause and re-energizing. And I'll go back to when I was in membership sales, and I'd reached the point I was doing pretty good, okay? Maybe a little too good, and what I mean by that is I was a little too enamored with the sales maybe, and I was getting away a little bit from some of the other things in terms of solving problems and the actual fitness part of it. And I'll never forget one day that the manager came out to the workout floor, and he says, "Jim, when's the last time you worked out?" And I said, "Well, it's probably been a couple of weeks." And he goes, "Look, take the rest of the afternoon off, grab your gear, go get a workout, do it all, and then be ready to go, 5:30, 6 o'clock, when we start to get busy." I said, "Fair enough, happy to do it." And so I did it. I went and worked out, and what I remember most about that is I was sitting in the sauna, okay, it kind of overlooked the workout floor. I was sitting in the sauna thinking, wow, this really feels good, okay? And it changed everything for me. I was truly re-energized. I was doing well anyway, not as good as I could have, okay? But I was re-energized because I got back into product. I worked out and I used everything we had, and boy, it felt good. And it reminded me of how much I really believe in this and how I know this is a great product, great service, for our customer. So, identify the root causes of what some of this is. And then one of the other things I would say, more often than not, if you have a sales team that is truly slumping, okay, you could look at, self-confidence, look at self-esteem. More often than not, if sales are down, those are some things that you might look at, with your team. So identify, the root cause. And one of the things I like to do in kind of any meeting or any kind of initial conversation, I'll always talk about, hey, tell me what's working, what's not working. And it's always a safe environment, okay? I want them to feel like they can say anything to me, but what's working well, what's not, okay? And then we start to identify that and try to find out what that root cause is. Number 2, provide direction. Provide direction, okay? And I'll give you some things to think about this, and kind of what I'm talking about here a little bit is, are we conveying expectation? Okay, are we really conveying what is the expectation here? And I'm going to give you a couple things here, but when it comes to that, I remember, this is kind of going back a little further, when I was still struggling, and it was the very first day that I had made 3 sales in a day, which was a big accomplishment. And I'll never forget, as the day was unfolding, and a pretty good day for me, they're thinking, whoa, okay, this is nice, pressure's off. Okay, I don't have to maybe do a sale or 2 the next few days because I did 3 today. Okay, and I'll never forget, when I was leaving that night, the manager came out excited, big smile, shook my hand, said, hey Jim, congratulations, I know you did 3 sales today. And I said, yes sir, I did. Shook his hand, and this little stop sign goes up, and he goes, now Jim, that's the kind of production I need from you every day. I go, oh yes sir. And I was thinking, oh, I can kind of cruise, and he's now saying that's the kind of that's the kind of production I need from you every day. And the reality is, that's kind of what I started to do. In very short order, I was doing 100 sales a month, okay? Because now I was working at that every single day. So provide direction. And one of the things, we've used this with a lot of gyms to really immediately put our foot on the accelerator a little bit, because the expectation is not always clear. And so if you've not yet done it, okay, let's have some goals. Let's just say for your club, pick a number, whatever it is for you guys, you want to do 100 sales a month, okay? And here's what we wrote today, here's what our month to date is, here's what our projection is, and here's our goal. How do you compare projection to the goal? Okay, because what we want to learn to do is manage based on these expectations. Too many folks they don't have a personal expectation or one for the club. They just know we need more. Okay, so really define that. Okay, define the numbers and make sure everybody's aware daily. Every morning, every evening, whenever you do it. Everyone's aware daily. Hey, here's where we're at. Here's where we need to be. And so for short, let's come up with a plan, a 2 or 3 day plan, to get these numbers where we need to get them. But convey the expectations. Too many people don't know, and we don't follow up. Number 3, get involved. Get involved with your team. Okay, you're never going to really be able to accomplish a lot of this unless you do. And when I say get involved, I mean treat your staff. For you folks that are managers and running teams, treat your staff like they are your best customer. Okay, I mean, they have a big sales day. Next morning, you've got red carpet they're coming in on. Okay, whatever you like to do, but get involved with them. Okay, for me, I always like to shake their hand. When they make a sale, I say good morning to them. I talk to them in the course of the day. I find out why is it important to them. Why are they working here? I know you want money, but why is it important to you? Is it a second job? Are you a primary income earner or a secondary income earner? Are you going to school? I want to know, kind of where they're at and what makes them tick and what direction, are they looking to go. But get involved in this, okay? Don't be hands off. Number 4, use data. Anyone that's not using data, you're really behind the mark here. Use your data, okay? And look at, you have certain expectations, okay? How many leads do we need to collect every day? How many outbound calls do we need to collect or make? How many contacts do we need to make? How many appointments do we need to make? What's our show percentage? What's our closing percentage? What's our second sale look like? What do referrals look like? And you can find all this information, okay, here on the channel. You can search for all these videos. We go through that in a lot of depth on a lot of these. So we want to know our data on all of that. We're up here building our pipeline all the way through to how many sales are we making and how are we getting referrals from those folks. Make sure you know all of that. Okay, know your attrition percentages. Okay, know where we're at, but know the numbers, because you might have somebody. I'll give you an example. We had a gentleman. He worked for a client club, and this was a group that had numerous clubs, and I was handling a lot of the training for him. And he never wanted to show up. And because when stats would come out, the standings would come out, he was like number 5 or 6 in the company, okay, out of I think 5 clubs. So he was doing pretty good, and that was his excuse. And hey, Jim, I don't really need training. Look where I'm at. Look what I'm doing, okay. And finally, we just lowered the boom and made it mandatory. You had to go, okay. And because here's what we found out: yeah, he was getting more sales, but his closing percentage was one of the lowest. Okay, he was good at grabbing the walk-ins, good at grabbing the phone inquiries, good at grabbing the leads, and he was making sales, but he wasn't really maximizing the opportunity. And so we finally got him in the training, and he really was good. And before you knew it, he was number 1 in the company, and before you knew it, he was running his own club. So we want to make sure let's get involved. Let's really know what's happening, and let's really use our data to understand these things. And then finally, on number 5, celebrate little wins. Celebrate little wins. Hey, you make the sale. Maybe you want 10 of them today as a group, as a company, but there's one. Thank you. Okay, we appreciate it. Or whenever they do something good. I was in a meeting one time with a group, a brand new client, and it was a little bit of a turnaround, and they had some things we had to work through. And it's my first meeting, kind of with the group. And we got done, and then the owner had said, hey, does anybody have any questions for Jim? And I think it was his wife that was there. And she goes, well, I have a question. Jim, can you help me design a form? Okay. And the kind of form I need is I want to start writing people up, because people aren't doing their jobs. Okay. And when I see them not doing their job, I want to go ahead and write them up for that. Okay. And I stepped cautiously into that one, because that's really not the style that I like to use. And I made the following suggestion. I said, look, I'll be happy to design the form, okay? But what if we did this? Instead of catching them doing something wrong, let's catch them doing something right. So we can write them up, if that's what we want to do. We can write them up. Well, let's write them up for doing something right. Hey, great job on that sale. Great job with that customer. Great job at the front desk. Hey, great job, grabbing something and starting to clean when you had some downtime. Great job on making outbound calls. Whatever it might be, but catch them doing something right. Celebrate those little wins. Because at the end of the day, what we want to be able to do for those of us in charge, we want to create an atmosphere that allows a motivated person to act. And I can tell you, in a lot of clubs, we've had a lot of success right out of the gate. Not because we changed process or changed facility or anything else. We changed the mindset. We changed the energy of the group. So listen up to some of these things. See if they can help you take your production to a whole new level. So folks, my name is Jim Thomas. My company is Fitness Management and Consulting, and appreciate you being here at the channel today. And if you've not yet done so, please hit that subscribe button. And then again, for additional ways you can learn more about me, learn more about my company, and how we can help take your business that next level, and additional ways you can also choose to support the channel, check out those links below, and we'll look forward to seeing you all in that next video.